Okay, so it has been a while, but yet another trade recap. And the reason for this is because I took a trade on both Nasdaq and US30, and they were both swing trades. So for the past at least 2.5 weeks, I didn't take any other trades, because I was in both a like I said, Nasdaq and US30 trades. So actually closed both, and I'll be doing a trade recap on both of them. I didn't hold until the full TPs. However, I did close with some good profits, and yeah, I took longs on both Nasdaq and the US30, and uh, both trades resulted in a win. And yeah, let's get straight into it. So first of all, since this is a swing trade, I'll be dealing mostly with the daily time frame and just maybe a little bit on the 4-hour time frame. First of all, I'd like to draw your attention to this daily support zone. We can see all the way over here, price pushed above, it retested, it broke above, it was a resistance zone, it broke above, retested, and then what did price do? It pushed higher. Therefore, it now became support, right? So once again, we can see price pushed up aggressively all the way, and then eventually we did once again retest this daily, was resistance, remember, now support. We did retest it, and then price bounced back up. Price bounced back up, and then what did price do? It tried to retest it once again. However, it could not hold the support zone, and then price broke well below it. So with that being said, this is a very important zone, simply because of the fact that we had a break above it, a couple of retests, and then eventually price couldn't hold that zone, and then broke through it, right? It broke through it. So we can see for the majority of at least the last couple of weeks or months, we've been in a very aggressive downtrend, right? However, we did eventually get word. Let me just draw your attention to here. We did eventually get word of that 90-day tariff pause, right? And that resulted in this massive, that resulted in that massive daily candle to the upside, where all the indices actually pushed an aggressive, I think it was like 10% in that one day. So the reason why I'm making reference to this bullish candle over here is because this, or rather the 90-day tariff pause, is essentially what caused the breakout back to the upside and put us back into bullish momentum, which I'll get into shortly, right? So we can see that price, we got the 90-day tariff pause, price pushed up back to now. It was resistance, remember, price broke above, and then once again couldn't hold it, where it tried to retest it, and then broke back below to now become once again resistance, right? It acted as a resistance, then a support, and now once again a resistance. So price pushed up, price pushed up. Let me just get rid of this. So price pushed up, failed to break back above the resistance zone, then retraced back downwards, right? So price failed to push above it once again. However, what price did do, it gave us a higher low, right? So we had the lower low over here. Then when we got that aggressive move up and the retrace to the resistance zone, and when price retraced back off it, we got a higher low, right? So that was a good indication. Of a little bit of bullish momentum starting to form, right? So right after we got this higher low, price then proceeded to once again push back up, try to retest the daily resistance zone, and then eventually, let me just zoom in here, and then eventually we got actually a break above. We actually got a break above, thus very important and very key resistance zone with this bullish candle over here. However, on my side, that wasn't enough confirmation that okay, we broke above it, but now price is going to continue pushing to the upside, right? That wasn't enough for me to say, okay, bullish momentum is back on our side, and price, you know, will continue pushing higher. So I waited a little bit, as you can see over here, about another day or two, until I felt fully confident to actually get in on a buy trade. So the reason for that is I was waiting for an actual pullback into the now once again daily support zone. So as you can see, let me draw your attention to this bullish candle over here. We can see we broke over here. Price was just consolidating a bunch over there. Then eventually with this bullish candle, we retested, as we can see, with this wick over here. Now the wick is very important because it shows us yes, it's a pretty long wick on the daily time frame, but going on to a lower time frame such as the 4-hour or even the 1-hour would show that price did in fact actually retrace in there on the lower time frames, and then price pushed back up, right? And that's how this bullish candle was formed. So on the lower time frames, essentially what price done was it pushed into the support zone and then pushed back up, right? So that was then the confirmation that I needed to show me that okay, price pushed in, retested, the support zone held, and now we can expect price to push further to the upside. So that was a very important confluence for me that led me to taking this trade. Another very important confluence that I would also like to highlight is this very important trend lines. So the only time I use trend lines would be on the higher time frames, which is 4-hour and daily, because I feel like they have more strength on the higher time frames, whether they hold or break above or below. So on this daily trend line, we can see we had a first touch over there, we had a second touch over there, and then we had a third touch over there, and price eventually broke above it, clean above it, not just with a wick, because a wick above a trend line is not essentially a break above. That's just a fail out, right? But we can see that price retested it. We got 3 touches, and then price did eventually, with this candle over there, it broke clean above it with good momentum. So with a break above a very key trend line on, once again, let me reiterate, on the higher time frame, which is the daily, plus a break and retest of the a key resistance zone, was a good confirmation for me that okay, we are gaining some bullish momentum and I can start looking for longs, and I actually entered the trade. Also, another thing that I actually used and would like to make mention of the of my confluences was the fact that I took inflation data also into account. So I think it was just a little while before this, I'm not really sure, we did have pretty good inflation data coming out for the US, and also I took NFP data into account as well. So both the CPI data came in very good, no, not very good, but good for the US, plus also the NFP jobs report came in strong as well. So that was good, a good indication for me that price, or rather that the overall US economy is not too bad regarding the tariffs. So those were the 3 confluences that basically I used. So I basically used a little bit of technical and fundamental analysis. So it was just to just to briefly recap, it was the break above this trend line over there, very important trend line on the high time frame, then the break and retest of this very key daily support zone, and the push off it as well, plus the fundamentals of the NFP jobs report and the CPI data as well. So three very important confluences that I used, and that enabled me to take the trade. And as we can see, once I actually got into the trade, it was a smooth ride up. We can see we had the break, we had the retest, and then price just smoothly started creating higher highs, higher lows, and it pushed extremely well up. So also I'd like to make mention of this little green trend line, or this green little line over here. So that was initially my TP1. It was my TP1 in which I moved my stops to break even. So because it was once also a very key level of resistance, daily resistance up here, as you can see. So once price actually hit the zone and hit this little green line area, I moved my stop loss to break even. It was a risk-free trade, and that enabled me to get into the US30 trade, which I will get into shortly. And I actually closed my full trade right about as price broke above this little zone over here. So with this candle, I didn't even wait for it to close. As soon as I saw the break, I just decided to close the trade. And the reason why I closed the trade is because this trade rather, I took a while back, but as I said, it was a swing trade, so I had to let it run. But this week, once again, we did have CPI, the latest CPI report. So I wasn't really sure what CPI was going to do, considering that, now that we could potentially see the actual effects of the tariffs. So with that being said, that was the reason why I closed. And as you can see, CPI actually came out pretty good once again, and price is just continuing to push higher. But I am out of the trade, and if we do get a pullback into this now daily support zone and a good reaction off of it, I will look for buys all the way up to all-time highs. So with that being said, let's get quickly into the US30 trade. So this trade was pretty similar to my Nasdaq trade. However, I will admit I jumped the gun with this one over here. So it was pretty much the same exact setup and confluences that I used. The ones that I used for the Nasdaq, I used for this US30 trade. So we can see we had first touch over there, second touch over there, third touch over there, and a break above. Once again, higher time frame, daily trend line, a break above there, and I jumped the gun on this trade simply because of, yes, we had a key resistance level over here, and we can see how much price consolidated over there, trying over and over to push above the zone. And yes, we did eventually get the break above, as we can see with this bullish sort of engulfing candle. So what I told myself was, okay, we broke above the zone, we broke above the higher time frame daily trend line, and also since I moved my stop loss on the Nasdaq trade to break even, I thought, okay, let me just get in here before price continues to push up, whatever. And essentially it was a very impatient move on my part, because as we can see, as soon as I got into the trade, we were in immediate drawdown. My stop loss of course didn't get hit, but it's still a lesson for me to be patient and to follow my trading plan and actual confluences, because on the break and retest side of things, I jumped the gun there. I didn't wait for the retest and the reaction of the support zone. But nonetheless, the trade did work out, and we did eventually, like I said, we broke above, and that's when I entered straight off. But we did eventually retrace back into the support zone, and then price pushed in our direction. Also here, as with the Nasdaq trade, you can once again pay attention to the green line. It was also my first TP, or my TP1, and I as soon as I closed my Nasdaq trade, I also closed this US30 trade. Although price did push nicely in my direction, the same reason why I closed the Nasdaq trade is the reason why I closed this US30 trade, because I was unsure how the inflation data would come out. And yeah, inflation, like I said, came out better than forecast for the US. So similar, or not similar to the Nasdaq, but if price does give us a break above this daily resistance zone and a retest. So if price does give us a break and retest of this uh so if price does give us a break and retest of this daily resistance zone, then I will look for longs, and similar to the Nasdaq, I will be targeting full TP at all-time highs. So